Hopefully we're live. Hopefully we're operational. You may notice, guys, that I'm in a slightly different zone here, mainly due to noise and stuff, actually, where I was going to do the stream tonight. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. If you're in the chat, if you're watching, please let me know. A bit of an impromptu this one tonight. I believe it's the 44th live stream, but I thought it's good to get back into the live streams Wednesday and Sundays from now on. Looks like we got Robin in the house. It looks like things are operational. Hopefully you can hear me, guys, and everything's set up correctly, and the camera won't run out of power. That's a slight issue that could happen. There are many issues that could happen. Cats could be involved, dogs could be involved. There are many hazards that we might have to navigate. If you're in the chat, guys, please do hit the like button. It really does help out the channel a great deal to get us out there to a few more people, to the toppermost of the poppermost. Good. Tom Clow says, I'm coming through loud and clear. That is good news, Tom. Ed says, hi, it's sounding good. Excellent. Thanks for tuning in, Ed. We got Samuel Luxer is in the house too, along with Stephen C, 1984. Change of venue, yep, switching up a little bit. Over to, let me get this right, hang on, I think it's this one. Yep, so just over there we can see the very large number of guitars that are stored up over there, and the pool cues as well. I'm actually sat at my pool dining table, which is at the moment covered in stuff. There's headphones here to review. I'm working on some reviews for those. Over here we have a pair of shoes. They're just here for no apparent reason on the table. The Reebok Run Fast Pro. There are boxes of things. There are COVID antigen tests, rapid antigen tests here. I've got many of those. There's a PlayStation 5 box. There's some toy trains. We've got everything here, guys. A bric-a-brac. It's kind of like Del Boy's warehouse. That's what we're looking at. And we've got a very fetching, is this a leopard, perhaps, tiger cap here that my daughter owns. We've got some shoes, there's a record player. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on here. It's a strange times that we live in. Robin is in the house. We've got Tom and Steve we have mentioned. Jim Goldie is in the house. Jim, I'm going to get back out in those Boston 10s soon. I've just been chatting a little bit with Kafuzi over on his live stream about those shoes, and I need to give him another go. But I need to give him another soak first to get the blood out of the back of the shoe, because there's still quite a bit in there. Kevin Church is in the house. Nice to see you here, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. Robin says, do I get a gold for the first comment? Yes, I'm gonna put the gold medal around your neck. There we go, the gold, and then you can imagine the national anthem in your mind. We're all being very quiet. Hang on, we'll just have a little moment of silence there. Just taking in the national anthem for Robin there. Well done. Got a ham and cheese guy running vlog. I like that. That's a good name. He says, hi all, how you doing? Ham and cheese, a good combination. Lee Anthony is here. He says, evening Ed, first time on the live stream. But consume all of your videos. Excellent. I like the fact you're consuming them. I'm just looking on the preview screen. It looks all right here. The image isn't too bad, so I'm quite happy with that. We are working down here in this strange new place. There's some scales here. There's some scales. Also, I use those on a regular basis. And my trusty headphones. I never leave home without my Sennheiser HD25s. Beautiful sound reproduction on these. Very light and easy to replace the parts on there. Thoroughly recommend those headphones to you. Kevin Scott is in the house. Says, it's been a while since he's managed to catch a live stream. I'll raise my glass to you, Kevin. I got some Ribena here. It's not Ribena at all, but it tastes great. It tastes similar to Ribena. That's all I'm going to say. Samuel Luxer says, Ed, Liberate Nitro. Talk to me. Do I have the other shoe here? No, I think I've only got one of them. Here it is. I'll pick it up from this these dried flowers over here that incidentally were from Mrs. EDDBUD and I's wedding. They've survived very well. The cat has chewed them a few times, but yeah, they're looking pretty good. Liberate Nitro. Here it is. So with this shoe, I think you're either going to absolutely love it, or there's just not going to be enough cushion there for you, especially in the forefoot area there. It's not a huge amount of nitro foam there, but if it does work, I think you'll really enjoy it. It's so light as well. don't expect any major structure here. There is a sort of overlay that acts as a heel counter, but that's about it. And this red thing here, well, it doesn't actually do anything really, because when you take the insole out, you can actually see straight through almost. There's nothing there. It's just a red thing. So I know some people said it was a special stabilizing piece or something, but that's a load of old hogwash. That's what it is. Willie Diaz says, my man Eduardo is at the Bud cassette. Yeah, this is part of the house, so there's a big sort of living room area, and I'm sat at a big, it's actually a slate bed table. It's a beautiful table to play on. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to actually playing in the league soon, so I can try and win back my Vice Captain's Cup that I won a couple of years back. Kevin Scott says, PlayStation 5, how did you get that, or just the box? I was super lucky. Oh, this is my daughter's one actually. I was super lucky to pick up a couple of those at the very end of last year. So, well, I'd say the end of last year, it was all October time or whatever it was. I don't know how I managed it, but we've been enjoying playing on those a great deal. Really enjoyable. The Spider-Man games, and also I've kind of gone back to Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. I've been really enjoying that over the summer, just kicking back and playing some of that. But today it's really been all about Link's Awakening on the Switch. I'm really enjoying playing that one at the moment. Just resting up, you know, so I can use a bit more energy on the runs. And it's nice to just sit down and relax, you know. There's a massive stuff coming in here. I don't want to miss anybody. Gozza's in the house. We also have Chris McLean. Jim's enjoying the fact I'm getting back out in the Bostons. You know, Jim, I always give him a fair crack of the whip, even if I, you know, it's not just sweat this time, it's blood as well I've given to that shoe. So I will get back out on him. Like I said before, it was only a tiny little blister. You know how it is. If any of you have ever played guitar and you've cut your finger or something and you're sort of strumming away, incidentally got the Smiths t-shirt on today. You're strumming away and it just sort of covers the whole front of your guitar. It looks terrible. You know, it looks absolutely horrific, but it was fine. They didn't really hurt me that much. Thomas Villa says, I need to set my out of office for 1 hour longer. Excellent stuff. Neil is here as well on the live stream. The first one for him. Hi Neil, thanks for joining us. It's very kind of you to do so. Let's see who else we got going on here. I'm making a video at the moment, guys. It's some of my favourite non-running YouTube channels. And there are quite a few. A bit of sneak peek, I suppose, is the RMC, which used to be Retro Man Cave channel. That's a really good one. Really good if Mrs. EDDBUD's sort of feeling a little bit tired but can't get to sleep. I just put the Retro Man Cave channel on, and I'm there, you know, watching all of it, but she falls asleep. No time at all. Absolutely no time. That one will be in there, I think. Willie, I am still working in terms of guitar on a running news like track. And what I might try and do is actually release that, and along with a load of other sort of things I've been working on at some point. Now it's a bit of a platform to sort of get it out there to more people. I think that some of you would be quite into that and enjoy hearing some of my varied music that I've created over the years. So we will do that very soon. You'll be first to know about it on the channel. Samuel Luxor says, is that the Energy 3 Adventure you spy? You are eagle-eyed, sir. Yes, it is. Reebok very kindly have sent me this shoe to test out because they know I love the Energy 3 so much. I think they're really happy that I've been promoting some of their products, and I've got to say some of them are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it'd be good to try this one out. There's some strange features here, certainly. This is one of the only running shoes that I've actually received recently that Mrs. EDDBUD's really liked the look of. She thought they looked really cool, and my daughter as well thought they looked really interesting. So it'd be nice to get out in these very soon for you and give you a review, my initial thoughts. Let's try and catch up with a few of these questions, because there are many. Anilas says, so weird about the Liberate, has enough foam for long runs. Yeah, I found them fine, really. But then again, I'm quite a light person. I think you may well be too. So that's probably why they work well for us. I think a few people pick them up and it's not quite enough cushion there for them. But then we're all different, aren't we? Everybody's slightly different. We all enjoy running, but we've all got our own sort of attributes and variables, haven't we? Ian Lowe, he says the Float Ride 3 versus the Nova Blast 2. Got both and it's Reeboks all day. Yeah, I quite like the Nova Blast 2. It does have some limitations, and I think they're quite well documented now. But for me, the Float Ride 3, it's a cracking shoe. It really is. A lot of people don't like the look of it. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's a really nice profile. And it does everything I need it to do in terms of stability, cushion, and the weight as well. So really nice balance and sort of equilibrium there with the Energy 3. So for me, certainly one of the best shoes of the last 12 months. I concur with your views there. Menu Leah says, hello, what shoe would you suggest for a max cushion daily trainer for easy recovery tempo runs and sometimes struggle with shin splints? Ooh, okay. Using the Velocity Nitro suggested by you and loved them. Awesome. So a max cushion daily shoe, I'm not a big fan of them, I've got to be honest, and whenever I seem to try one out, they just kind of don't really work all that well for me. I just feel they're a bit sort of clunky and clumsy. I guess if you want something to absorb impact on a sort of daily basis, just for those very easy sort of miles, maybe the 1080 V11, that's a real sponge. You could look at the Vomero. I find that one a really good versatile shoe, very cushioned. I wore that on today, in fact, 6.3 miles, I think. Just a little over 10 kilometers. Nice easy pace, about 8 minutes per mile pace. What's that, about 5:10, something like that per kilometer. Very humid today here in Yeovil. I ended up sort of looking like I'd run into a shower or something at the end. I was really sweating it out today, even though it was a much more sustainable effort than yesterday's run at about 7:25 per mile. So yeah, it was odd today. Just kept it nice and easy in the Vomeros, and they, for me, have got a massive cushion there. You've got 3 different technologies. You've got the, I think it's called SR02 foam, which is a very soft, almost marshmallowy like foam, and a core of Zoom X, which goes almost right the way through the middle section of the shoe, even underneath the airbags which are at the front. So do check that one out, Menu. I think that will work very well for you. Chris says, running my first race in a few months, what would you suggest as a good non-plated shoe for a 10k? The Adidas 6. Absolutely love that shoe. An amazing shoe. One of the best I've worn in a long time. I'll be doing my 100-mile review on that one very soon, Chris, so do look out for that one, okay? That would be my choice. I think it's a good training shoe as well. Only, what is it, just over £100. You can't lose with that one. It really is a well put together product, much like EDDBUD, really. Kevin Scott, PS5, says, well, Joe, I've not managed to find any PS5s. Yeah, we were really lucky getting those 2. I think one of them was from Argos. I just got lucky. I think I woke up to go and see the dog or something. He wanted to go outside one night, and I just went on and checked, and they had one, and I bought it, and there we go. And it actually turned up as well, which I was quite amazed. I thought I probably wouldn't see it for 2 or 3 years or something. It's quite nice doing a live stream down here because it's a little bit cooler, and I've got access to a range of snacks as well to keep me going. So yeah, maybe we'll just live stream for as long as we possibly can, until everyone falls asleep. There we go. Let's see what else we got here. George says, happy to report that he's getting addicted to the Velocity Nitro. So comfortable and a great ride. Yeah, it is a good shoe. The Nitro foam really is quite tremendous. I think Puma have really knocked it out of the park with that one. Hard to put it down, really. Steve H says, any thoughts to reviewing the new Triumph 19 or the Shift 2? I might give the Shift 2 a whirl, but I'm hearing with that one it's a bit more of a stability shoe, and sometimes get a bit of sort of knee pain if I use a stability shoe. So I don't know what that says about me. being 44. Apparently my daughter said to me, she goes, I thought you were 44. And I thought, wow, you're not getting any pocket money this week. And I you know, pulled her up on that one fast. 42, you know, 42. Come on, don't add 2 years on. That's like adding on like 10 years when you get past 40, isn't it? It's not on. I can imagine if I said that to Mrs. EDDBUD, I don't think she'd speak to me for like a couple of weeks or something like that. So I might pick up the Triumph 19 instead. I think that might work better. Because I want to try the 20, but that's not going to be out for a year or so, is it? Mitchell says he needs to replace his SL20s. The SL20, what a shoe for the faster runs. Adios 6, my friend. I would go Adios 6. If you like the SL20, that's the closer thing. Unless you want to go completely off the scale and try something very, very light, almost like a race flat light, the Liberate Nitro. So it depends which way you want to go with that one, Mitchell. Sarah Gon says, yo Ed, any plans to test out the Rincon 3? Yes, absolutely going to grab the Rincon 3. I might even do some of my own sort of surf style background music as well to that one, because I know the Rincon, it's a beach, is it an area or something? It's very famous for surfing, so I will pick that up, and there'll be some EDDBUD noodling behind on my Jaguar maybe. I'll see if I can get the old spring reverb on as well for some surfing. Darry says, going right after Kafuzi, see what you did there? Yeah, it would be disrespectful to be on and interrupting Kafuzi's live stream there with mine. So yeah, making sure Kafuzi's he's a great guy. You know, he is an inspirational figure to me, and I would always make sure to sort of put things around him. He's been doing this a long time, you know, guys. So got ham and cheese guy running vlog. I like that. So he's running the New York City. I have the Vaporfly Next Percent, but want to get either Vaporfly Next Percent 2 or Alphafly. I'd avoid the Invincibles. I didn't like that shoe at all. The Pegasus Turbo 2 is a fantastic shoe. Tomorrow, I think we've got my Pegasus 35 Turbos. I've actually sawn them in half with a huge saw. And I'm going to show those off and talk about those a little bit as to why I think they were such a great line, the Pegasus Turbo. It's my last little chance, I suppose, to get Nike to change their minds and bring back the Turbo, because loads of people like that shoe. I'd suggest if you're going to pick up anything, the Next Percent 2 are so similar to the original one. I'd try and get the Adios Pro or something, or you want to get the Alphaflies, yeah, I mean, give them a whirl, but they're quite a different running experience to the Next Percent. So, yeah, see how you fare with that. But I'd avoid the Invincible. I think it's an overpriced sponge clog. Personally, I just don't think it's needed. I don't think it's needed. Kevin Church says, yes, a good idea earlier. How about a mash tour of your guitar gear and shoe collection? I think we'd have to, with the shoe collection, I've been looking at ways to try and make it fun and interesting, because if I did the whole thing, it would take, I think it needs several parts basically, or it's just going to, get a bit Lord of the Ringsy. So yeah, is that a thing, Lord of the Ringsy? You know what I mean? Those films are very long, aren't they? So yeah, I think it would be a bit too long. David Hamilton says, non-running has to be that chapter. Got ham cheese guy running vlog, new musical interludes. My daughter's been getting me to listen to lots of sort of more modern hip hop, and I'm really enjoying some of it actually. It reminds me of when I was about 10, and I used to get my mum to drive to the what's it called, the M&W. There was a load of stores. Perhaps some people from the UK will remember what I mean, but there was a load of stores in the UK called M&W, like a newsagent, and they used to have Hip Hop Connection magazine. I used to collect that when I was 10 years old. I'm not sure what my mum thought of all of that really, but yeah, that got me into mixing and scratching. Yeah, I wish I hadn't sold my Technics. I'd love to have those back now. I was pretty good actually on the turntables. Can still mix and all that stuff, but would assume, so my scratching skills have probably gone a bit downhill these days. I was pretty good at cutting. Pretty good. If I don't say so myself. Got to blow your own trumpet. Occasionally. Ian says, Adios 6, Mitchell, love mine. Yeah, Ian's right there. It is a top shoe. Robin says he keeps seeing some X-Step carbon racing shoes. I think it's X-Step that got a hold of me to review some stuff. I think they're sending me some stuff, so it'll be good to test those out. I think they're struggling to get the shoes in my size though, sadly, as they're a make from over in Asia, but I don't think they manufacture as many of the largest sizes because simply they just don't sell them. So I think they're trying to sort that out for me, which would be amazing. Chris says, my top 3 Jordans of all time. Oh man, that is a tough one. Third place, Jordan 1s. I've got to say the second place would be Jordan 4, the Fire Reds. And the top place has got to be the original sort of white, red and black Jordan 5s. They are my absolute favourite. That's the ones I saved up for when I was a young chap and finally managed to get them. But yeah, Jordan 4's not far off. I love those 2 shoes. That era for me is really cool. In terms of comfort, actually the Jordan 1 beats them hands down. I think they're just really comfortable shoe to wander around in, go record shopping and just generally sort of kicking back in them. But I like the Dunk Highs as well. Dunk Highs are really, really comfortable shoes for me as well. And if I'm going to wear something modern, I suppose, from the basketball lineup, I'm not really a big fan of the Kevin Durant shoes, the KDs. I just don't like that big Velcro strap on the midfoot sort of area. I really like my LeBron 17s. And my daughter's trying to make me buy some more LeBrons, so I just don't need any right now. I really don't need any more basketball shoes right now. Although it has been nice to play a little bit recently. To throw a few. I'm good to go on the 3-pointers, so I'm useless when I get nearer the hoop. So talking about basketball, this is kind of weird, but it's cool. Kevin Scott says Spotify running playlist. I have recently got Spotify, so I am working on that to get that together for you guys. If any of you have got really good suggestions about a phone carrying device while I'm running, please let me know, because I've got a load of headphones to test. I don't really like taking my phone out with me unless it's sort of protected by something, so I've got it in some sort of waterproof thing or a bag or something like that. So let me know if you've got any good suggestions. Kevin Scott says about the Reebok trail shoe. Yeah, I do think it is pretty much the same there. But it's certainly a very trail themed upper on that one. So we will see how it fares out there on my local trail. Now it's dried out a little bit because it's been very muddy out there. Some good advice there from Steve H about the Alpha Fly and the arch. Yes, there's a very prominent arch on the Alpha Fly, so do bear that in mind. Saragon, I have got a list of musical interlude stuff to check out, and that is on there, so I will listen to that very soon. Robert likes my t-shirt. This is a very old t-shirt, in fact, Robert. There's a load of holes and things in it, but I think it kind of looks a bit better once it's a bit sort of faded and screwed up. I think I bought this about 20 years ago, something like that. Quite a lot of my clothes are, in fact, from about 20 years ago. They just feel right, you know. And yeah, I think Miss EDDBUD's trying to get rid of a few of them. I do have a beautiful Leadbetter Rockets t-shirt from, I think I bought that in 98, 99, something like that. Chris McLean says, oh, I've missed that. That's a good question there. I want to go back to that. I think it was in reference to Brand of the Year. Brand of the Year for me, I don't think I've got an out-and-out winner there. I have really enjoyed the Rebel 2, and I have to be honest, you know I like to prove myself wrong, I've really enjoyed the Fuelcell RC Elite 2 as well. That's a shoe that has been really comfortable, really consistent, and it just looks so damn good as well. You get that shoe out and you just feel like $1 million when you put it on, and you run like you're worth $1 million as well. So yeah, I would perhaps agree with you there on that one. New Balance, some good releases there. I was a little bit disappointed in the 1080 V11. It was sort of like a something and nothing shoe to me a little bit. Good for impact protection, but nothing else really. I just felt it was a bit, I just guess, overly cushioned for my purposes. But the other stuff, very good. Oh, the Float Ride V2. Yeah, V2, V3. You can't really lose, can you, with that midsole? It's such a good one. Clifton's a reasonably good daily shoe. Yeah, again, you see, it's sort of something in the middle. I am going to switch down in my when I get the Rincon 3 to a size 11. I've been going for 11.5s in Hoka's because I found the Rincon really sort of constrictive in an 11, but I'm going to go for an 11 because all of these other Hoka's that I pick up are just way too long. When I go up half a size to give myself a little bit more room, so I'm just going to switch it back a little bit. Rob's been using his Nova Blast 2, so it's a midfoot pain. Did give me a bit of knee pain the other day, but that was only going down a really steep hill, and that was, it was just a bit stupid really. I shouldn't have done that, but yeah, it was the only way to get home, so I had to go that way. Ed says he's running first half in September, debating between the Next Percent 2 or the Endorphin Speed. Ooh, I think if you're racing your marathon, your first one, go for the Next Percent. If you're happy and you are experienced in running at that sort of distance or a bit over that distance in the shoe, go for it. I think it will give you a little bit more than the Speed will, and you'll want the lightest shoe you can get away with for the distance. So make sure you get some good long runs in there, long runs with some race pace miles in there as well. That will really help. And best of luck, Ed. From Ed. Tom says, controversial question, but if you're only allowed to run in one shoe brand, what would I pick? Ooh. Oh, that's a good one, Tom. That's a good one. I would say at the moment it would be Saucony. If I was allowed to have a pair of the Speed 2s in that beautiful red colour. There's an even better one, like a tie-dye colour that's over in America that hasn't been released in the UK yet. But if I could get a pair of those and my Pro 2s in my Scotland vibe colours, that I'd be pretty happy with that. I think I could probably run most things in those two shoes. So yeah, I'd go with that. Good question there. And Elaz says, I really want to try Skechers Max Road 5, but how we live in Europe. Yeah, Puma are sending me a pair of the Magnifies from Puma. Well, of course they're from Puma. But yeah, sending me those in the near future, so I will be testing those out, and I'll let you know my thoughts. Goza says, what are my thoughts on the Prime X? Yeah, I did watch Mike's Kafuzi's review on that, because I got to be honest, I watch a lot of Mike's stuff. I watch all Mike's videos, I always have done since I found his channel. And seeing Mike, who's got a really strong running form, very strong runner, he's run thousands of miles over the last few years, and you can see that shoe, it just completely squashes away. And I'd be really worried with my height going around some corners in that one. I think the Adios Pro 2's probably got enough for me, and the Prime X I'm going to leave firmly on the shelf. I did have the option of picking that up a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't bother. It's just too much in terms of earth credits for me, and it's too much foam there. But I can see why for some people it might work quite well, but I think that's quite a small niche bracket of people. Would I consider the Under Armour Flow as a daily trainer, Pedro? Yes, absolutely. You could use that as a daily shoe. And of course you got the advantage of those built-in metrics as well. You don't even need to attach it to your phone. You can just do it when you get back, and it will give you all those cool running metrics. So absolutely, really good shoe, and a surprise shoe of this year. It's going to be definitely in my top 5, I think, towards the end of the year. Ian says, question, have I seen the Scott Speed Carbon RC? I have seen that. I'm a little bit, I'm looking at all these sort of carbon plated shoes. They all look a little bit much of a muchness now. They're all copying the same idea and vibe. The only brand that's really done anything different is Adidas, where they've used the rods rather than the plate, which I think is going to be their way of circumventing some of the rules. When you're allowed to have the rods, obviously, and the plate. The rods don't count as a plate because they're not a plate. It's all very odd. So I think they're doing something a little bit interesting. Genfreeze M says Adios 6 looks like a solid shoe. Really love my Boston 9s with the light strike and continental rubber. Yeah, I think if you like the Boston 9, you will like the Boston 6. I think that will be a good shoe for you. It could work out really well. There's a lineage there between the two, which isn't there between the Boston 9 and the Boston 10. Mr. Jemson says good evening to all. Good evening. Good to see you here. Chris Carpenter says good evening, Ed. Guys, just if you are watching, if you're in the chat or you're watching live at the moment, please hit that like button. It really does help the channel out and gets us out there to some more people. Just under, what are we now? 93 concurrent viewers. So share it with your friends as well. See if we can get a few more people in here so we can get it over 100. Let's do it. Let's make this happen. Hit that like button. I can see it. I can see it before my very eyes. It's happening. It's happening. Thank you, guys. It's appreciated. So Chris says, update on damaged Next Percent. They fully refunded and he since rebought them. Awesome. What exactly was your issue with those, Chris? Do let us know. I tell you what, with those prototypes, I've gone through some glass and some stones and stuff. They penetrated straight through that rubber, which is a bit sad. Mr. Random's enjoying the Glycerin 19 as a good max shoe. Awesome. I hope that helps out some people in the chat there. Let's try and catch up with a few of the comments here. Kevin says, have I a holiday planned this year? Are you a fan of running on holiday? I am a fan of running on holidays, but I don't think I've got anything specific planned this year. I've got to be honest, I'm being super careful still where I go and who I kind of hang with at the moment. Obviously in the UK, all our restrictions have pretty much disappeared now, but I'm being very, very cautious still. Being somebody that during the year, typically I'm constantly around people and young people as well. Let's not forget young people have yet to have the option of having that vaccine between 16 and 18. That's predominantly who I teach. So I'm just being very careful, guys. We've all heard stories of people that obviously get the virus and didn't even know. So I don't want to be that guy. So even on runs and stuff, I'm still taking a wide berth. You know, I saw a lady earlier on, a pregnant lady. I gave her a really wide berth. I don't want that on my head. You know, if that was to happen. I don't need to be super close to people to do what I'm doing right now, you know. So long distance running, it's quite a solitary thing anyway, isn't it? No one wants to go out with you and, you know, run 15 miles or something at 6 o'clock in the morning unless they're completely insane, just like us. So it just doesn't happen. Let's see what else we got here. Aaron says, I haven't gotten along well with Nikes in the past, but considering getting the Next Percent 2, the other option is the Elite 2 or the Pro. Ooh. I think personally that you might get a little more out of the Elite 2 or the Pro. The Next Percent is an incredibly compressive shoe. There's not an awful lot to it really in the upper. I think the other two shoes you might get a little bit more from and perhaps be able to use them in training a little bit more as well. Certainly the Pro, I think that's a really great and very versatile shoe. It's not one that I feel that you feel too, that it's too rigid underfoot. I think you can use it on a variety of different activities. Palmer Mad says, what kind of hip hop? Oh, all sorts of stuff, some older stuff, some newer things. I don't know some of the artists actually. She's kind of teaching me them, which is kind of odd. Feel a little bit like perhaps my mum and dad felt like 30 years ago. Peter Clark says, Turbo 2 is his current front runner for Manchester Marathon. I have some white ones stashed away. He's planning to dabble in a plated option, but may hold off. Turbo 2 is a great shoe. I'm not sure I'd want to run a marathon in it. Yeah, when you look at how much foam there actually is underfoot, in the midfoot, forefoot, there's not a lot. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest I'd want to run a marathon. Certainly a half marathon. I've raced 10Ks in the Turbo 2 as well, in just a heap of mud, and they did really well, bizarrely. Robin says, is there still a 20k sub special? There is. I've got a special challenge that I'm going to put out to people. There will be a video on that, sort of documenting what you've got to do to enter as well. Like kind of like a giveaway, but I want to make a bit of a challenge out of it as well. So I think that's a little bit more fun than just going, oh, like this and subscribe to that and click this and retweet it and all that. It's just a little bit boring. So I want to do something a little different. Ben Dyke said he sold his Technics too. What a mistake. Yeah. I had some pristine SL1200s. I should never, ever have sold them. But yeah, you live and learn. I did get a 1210 back and restored it, actually. Completely restored it. Cleaned it all up. New cabling and internals and everything. And it's a thing of beauty. Sounds really nice. Mr. Random. It's next year. Brooks are dropping a Hyperion Tempo Max. Ooh. Next year. Why can't they do it this year, Mr. Random? You've perked my interest on piqued my interest on that. That does look good. I'll have to check that out. Just once again, guys, if you're in the chat or you are watching, please hit that like button. It really does help us out here. It helps to keep us in tiger hats and vinyl as well. There's a lot of vinyl in here. Loads and loads of vinyl. Going to do a bit of vinyl listening later, I think. Maybe a little Mac DeMarco, maybe a little Radiohead will be consumed later on. And some pretzels as well. I really fancy some pretzels. What else we got going on here? Karabat says, hi Ed, hello. Marathon training over here in Brooklyn's gone up in flames in a terrible heat wave. Yeah, I did notice that it's been incredibly warm over there recently. We had a bit of a heat wave a couple of weeks back, but nothing compared to what you guys have had to enjoy over there. So hopefully things are starting to cool off a little bit. I hope you can stay cool. Whenever I think about heat waves and things over that way, I always think about Do the Right Thing, that film. They all seem to be baking hot over there. Every single scene seems like everyone's just sweating and it's really warm. Jim Goldie says, will I give the Puma Deviate Elite a spin? Yeah, if I can get my hands on a pair. They're like mythical beings. Like some sort of rare Pokemon or something. I'm not sure if I can get one. Cheeks to 777's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing fine and enjoying the videos. Big supporter of the channel. It's much appreciated, mate. Rob Shooter's here. Says Tommy John's underwear has underwear with a pocket. Interesting. I need to get something to put that phone in. I don't know what I can find. There must be something out there. Richard Johnson says, ah yes, Earth Credit greetings, Mr. Airbud Jordan. And Miss Miggins post-Olympic hangover shot. Yeah, I noticed one of the wool shops in Yeovil's closed down. It's very sad to see that. I like a good wool shop. The other haberdashery that there was up at the top of our town is sadly gone. That was part of a department store. So I'm not sure where the nearest sort of fabric shop is now. If you wanted to get yourself a nice, carefully cut and measured piece of fabric, just can't be done. Ben Dyke, flip belt. Yeah, I do have a flip belt. I completely forgot about that, Ben. I always struggle with armbands. But the problem is I tend to produce a lot of moisture when I run, so I'm just wondering whether it will saturate my phone and make it unusable. That does mean though that I can do a run to the shops occasionally, which is always useful. When you've got small people around, they always want things, don't they? They always want some thing or a food, or Miss Ed Bud fancies some elderflower drink or something. Oh, horrible stuff. Yeah, that reminds me, I'll have another sip of my Ribena. Ah, that's a good Ribena, that is. It tastes good. Yeah, Jim Goldie says a flip belt as well. Someone else has mentioned flip belt, Stephen as well. I'll give it a whirl, see what happens. If it gets wet, then you'll know what happened. The Keogh Clans has got a question for everyone there, I think. I'll let people chime in with that one, and I'll come back to that in a sec. Austin Cooper just got the Nike Gakuso Vaporfly Next Percent 2. Are they a bit heavier than the standard ones? They look like almost like a cross between the Next Percent and the Next Percent 2, like somewhere in the middle. I wasn't sort of won over with the colours really on those. They're just not quite as beautiful as the 4% Flyknit was. Richard Johnson says, yeah, I'm sitting down, I'm just in a different place. There's a bit of noise, someone's doing something over near the shoe sanctuary, so I thought I'd come down here, and it's quite nice doing it down here. It's a bit cooler, that's for sure. And the animals haven't made a single appearance yet. I'm quite amazed. Richard Johnson's going to go in for a Garmin watch. Looking at the Phoenix 6. Yeah, I've got to be honest, I've looked at they're quite large, aren't they? I'm just wondering whether they'll sort of... I need something like that. I quite like the more lightweight things. I'm not sure I'd go for anything more than the Apex. Really, that tends to do the trick for me. Kevin Scott, I'll see what I can do. I'll let them know about the Panthea. See if they'll re-release it for you. Maybe they've got a stock of them somewhere. If they have, I'll let you know. Sam Joseph says, greetings from Swansea. Thanks for tuning in, Sam. It's appreciated. Do you know if Nike is still doing birthday discounts? I believe so. I know that there was a change in policy over in the US about them. I think they reduced the amount. But as far as I'm aware, in the UK, they're still doing them. I remember I did buy something using my voucher of recent time, and I think I sent it back for some reason, maybe sizing issues or something, and they didn't have the product I wanted, so they gave me back the voucher, which was really nice of them. So I promptly blasted it on some more Nike half tights, those Aero Swift ones, which I basically just wear them every time now. I know they're supposed to be sort of higher end running, sort of racing equipment, but I just love them. I just can't get enough of them. Saragon says, where do I think the Gooners are going to finish this season? Well, in pre-season we barely scored any goals and we've lost almost every game, so I've not got big hopes. Hopefully the new signing, is his name Ben White? They're from Brighton, the defender, so hopefully we'll tie things up a little bit at the back, but I don't know. I'm getting Willian vibes from Aubameyang, in fairness. I think he played very well towards the end of the previous season to get that new contract, and he was absolutely terrible last season, so yeah, we'll see. I've not got hopes. I think some of the other clubs have bolstered better than we have, so we'll have to see what happens. I'm not sure I'm going to test out the New Balance more, Mr. Random. It's just too much more for me. There's just too much there. So I think probably there's some better reviews out there. Some other shoe tubers have gone through that one with a fine tooth comb. Panos, yeah, I think you'll enjoy the Rebel 2. That's a really great shoe. It works for pretty much any run for me, the Rebel 2. I really do like that setup, and the RC Elite 2 as well. They kind of fit together for me. They're a really nice transition from a lighter, sort of more daily shoe to a little more structure there, and of course the rigidity from the carbon plate in the higher shoe. I'm not had any insole slipping Carabats in my RC Elite 2s. It seemed to be staying put at the moment, touch wood. We got Amado in the house. Good to see you here, sir. Hope you're doing fine, you and yours. Crew during lunch break. Awesome. Checking out some NAS EPMD too. Awesome. Well, we will check that out do have to ensure that tracks are clean versions. My daughter's quite young, so we're making sure we're listening to all the clean ones. Some of the tunes sadly end up becoming quite bitty, but we've managed to select quite a few that still have some reasonable flow. I've noticed, Derek says there, he's noticed some people using stability shoes, some of the Nike athletes. Yeah, I have noticed that. I'm not sure what the reason is there. I guess on track, you know, you're as naked, I suppose, as you're going to get really on track. So you've got to try and limit the weight as much as possible. So, yeah, interesting they're using stability shoes for training though. Richard Johnson says, will I be watching the Paralympics? Absolutely, I will. Any sort of sport that there is going, I'm normally in there to check out some of it at least. We tried to watch as much of the Olympics as we possibly could because it's gone so quickly, isn't it? I had a couple of sort of very early starts, bleary-eyed after watching those marathons the other day. But I couldn't help myself, you know, when there's a marathon on, got to be watched. Cheekster's been smashing the like button. That's very kind. Please do help the channel out, guys, by hitting that like button. It really does help us out. Pedro says, am I a teacher? Yes, I am, of IT and computing. So fortunately on a bit of a break at the moment, which is nice to recharge the batteries. Means I can get out and run at different times as well, which is very, very pleasant. Lee Anthony New running his first ultra in September, 60 kilometers, road and trail mixed. He's got some Peg Trail 3s. Any other recommendations? If you're doing some sort of ultra, if you aren't so worried about super max cushion, look at the Innovate G270. That is a wonderful shoe. I think that could be great. If you need a bit more of a drop, look at the G300. Both of those are fantastic, wonderful fit, and should be great between a road and trail mixed type terrain. Those would be my recommendations for you. Peg Trail 3 is a great shoe though. A little bit too squashy for me, I think. If I was going to be going that type of distance, I want something that's a little bit perhaps firmer. Rob Weatherall is looking forward to getting back to running. He's got the plantar fasciitis. I always remember Miss EDDBUD and I used to do like a Seth James Damore plantar bingo. So we used to sort of try and guess how many times he would say it in one of his videos. It's probably going back a couple of years now. It was good fun. We used to do that. Chris says he had a small hole in the rubber joining next to the front AirPods. Oh, okay. That's good that they replaced them without any issues for you. Sounds like a little bit of a sort of defect to the shoe, so that's good news. Best of luck in that half in September. Chris Williams doing his first marathon in November. Usually runs in the 1080 V11. What shoe should I use for the marathon? Want to protect my knees, not speed. So if you're looking for impact protection and cushion there, I guess it's a slightly denser type foam, isn't there, in the 1080 V11? I mean, you could try going down sort of slightly less cushion, I suppose, with one of the lighter numbers there in New Balance's lineup. I think that would be my suggestion. Just sort of ratchet things down in terms of the amount of cushion. Chris says, what's my opinion on the Meta Racer? Does it still hold up well with today's current plated shoes? I liked the Meta Racer, but it, for me, felt more like a half marathon shoe. I think it just didn't really have that sort of pop. It was more like a racing flat, really, and I know that some people have even been using them on the track for certain distances as well. So yeah, it kind of felt like some sort of cross between a carbon plated shoe and a track flat, really. So not massively sure about that one. I don't see them doing a follow-up to it as well. They seem to have firmly shelved that, and that's kind of become the Meta. Is it the Magic Speed, isn't it? They look in a similar kind of pigeonhole to me now. No worries, Gen Freeze. Thanks for tuning in. It's much appreciated. Erin says, thanks, Ed. Also a high school teacher. Have to be careful with our young people. Kudos and respect to you for your attitude on that. Absolutely. You know, it's a. I think it's important for kids to get into music if that's an avenue that they can get into music with. But I think it's important to demonstrate the right kind of approach to it. I was always a big fan of De La Soul. You know, back then, and that wasn't really an issue with their early material. And I can remember really being into their stuff because of that, actually, because it just had this slightly more wordy approach to the music. And I think that was really important. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. We got about 5 or 6 minutes before we'll wrap it up today, guys. Cheekster says, what do we prefer for 5k or 10k time trials? If I was to go for a 5k time trial, which one of those? I'd go for the Liberate Nitro in that case. I think it's an improvement over the SL20 with a even lighter feel. To me, it's almost sort of like a close thing, I suppose, to a Pegasus Turbo that we're going to get. So I think that would be for the 5k. For 10k, I'll just try any shoe, really. I think for 10k, as long as it's not too weighty. 10k is still closer to all out, so yeah, that's what I do. Kendrick Lamar is really good, says Rob Schuder. I'm very familiar with Kendrick Lamar myself. Perhaps some of you guys can check that out as well. Chris, yes, do drop me an email using the email address that's in the description of my videos, and I shall get back to you on that one. Mr. Random, UA are dropping a Max Road shoe. That'll be interesting to check out. On the 18th. Awesome. I shall keep my eyes peeled for that. Thank you, Mr. Random, for that nugget of info for us. Ali MN says, what do I think of the Carbon X2? Any recommendation for a reasonably priced carbon shoe? I wasn't really massively into the Carbon X2. I personally think it's an ultra shoe. I just don't really feel it's a marathon type shoe for me. Reasonably priced carbon shoe, maybe the Rocket X. That was a good shoe. I enjoyed that one. Test that one out. Or try and pick up a pair of the Endorphin Pro V1 on discount if you can. That's about as best as you can do there. Or, if you can find one, the Zoom Fly Flyknit, which had the carbon plate and the React foam. Beautiful shoe. They just fouled it up with the Zoom Fly 3. The upper was... It's like putting your foot inside a wetsuit. It wasn't nice. Steve H says, I think he's replying there to Namit in terms of stability and for the more V3 and the Triumph. I'm not sure I'd want to run a full marathon in the Energy 3s. I think they're a really good training option, but I think for me, yeah, they're a little bit too compressive and soft there. Not quite enough rigidity in the midsole for me. See what else we got here. Rob Shoes just picked up a very old Pearl Jam though. Pearl Jam album. Yeah, there's a couple of things I've been looking for recently on vinyl. Like sort of Steve Maltmus albums. What was the other thing I was trying to find the other day? There's a couple of Kurt Vile albums I wouldn't mind getting. There's a load of 90s stuff as well that just wasn't released on vinyl at all because all we had with them was CDs, which is a bit sad. Ah, good one, Kevin Church. Yes, Living Stones. I forgot about that in the old Yeovil Museum, of course. Yeah, Hobbycraft. Hobbycraft does quite a bit of stuff up there. I like those old ones though, you know, the old places where there's this old lady who does it all properly with the chalk and all that kind of vibe. I love that. Right, just a couple of questions then before we hit the sack. Well, I won't be hitting the sack. I'm gonna just chill for a little bit here. What else we got here? Rob's looking at some Coros watches. Certainly do, sir. They are very good, and with that recent upgrade as well, in terms of their software, they are second to none. So please do check those out. Mr. Random says, a good laptop for video editing that is not a MacBook. What I'd suggest is you've got a couple of things you need to look for there. You want something that's got a reasonable processor. There's going to be a lot of kind of rendering and things going on in the background, so you can play things nice and smoothly while you're editing them. So I'd also look at storage. Go for something that's possibly something in the middle, so you've got enough space to work on something, and obviously once complete you can archive it off to some other sort of media. And then something that's going to be reasonably good on battery power as well, because what I find is I'm constantly moving around the house and editing in different places at times, so you want a sort of a balance between all those different attributes. And if you can go for a slightly larger screen, it's obviously going to be beneficial if you're doing some video editing. You can have a few more sections to your windows open, doing different things like your preview pane, maybe some of the attributes and settings, and also your timeline as well. So that would be my suggestion. If you can put a few extra bucks up for the larger screen, it's worth it, absolutely. Amado's off back to work. Mr. Ram says, potholes in my law. That's a great tune. Absolutely great tune. Right, guys, I'm going to draw things to a close here. I really appreciate all of you popping in for the live stream today. I'll be back on Sunday for another live stream at 8 PM GMT here in the UK. I'll try and put the thumbnail up a little earlier this time to draw a few more people in. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you do hit that like button before you leave. It really does help us out a great deal. What we got coming up next couple of days? Yeah, Peg 35 sort of deconstruct, which is really interesting. We've got a headphone review possibly on the Saturday. I might go and do a part run on a Saturday as well. We'll see if there's something relatively local that I can go and have a bash at, and I'll just take the GoPro with me and yeah, see how quickly I can make it around. That's the dog. He's telling me it's time to end the live stream. So take care, guys. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.